Aloha, everybody. Where are my Hawaii people at? Can I get a ciao? I cannot believe that I'm standing on this stage right now. It is come full circle. Like Brian mentioned and Ryan showed you, this started off as a very small program. I found out about Ryan through Instagram, through social media, and I seen a guy who is Hawaiian wearing a hat on one of his videos, and I called him up and I said, hey, is this guy Ryan legit with the crazy hair? And he's like, yeah, sis, you should join. He's starting his first mentorship. And from there, like he mentioned, I was working as an engineer. I was looking for something more. Like a lot of you today, you guys are looking for something more in life. You're wanting to achieve more, maybe make more money, maybe have more time freedom, more location freedom. There's something pushing you to do more. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today is, who here wants to be a millionaire in 2024? Raise your hand. Hey, you're all here for a reason. But I'm here to share with you that there's no secret, like they've been mentioning. It takes relentless action, sacrifice. It takes giving up that time in the beginning to then be able to scale to where we're all at today. So that's what I want to share with you is no one is coming to save you. You have to take action after this event and do it yourself. And why should you listen to me, right? They kind of introduced who I am, but I want to give you a little bit more background, similar to Ryan and Brian. This is my story. I grew up in Hawaii. I was raised by a single mom. She worked 3 jobs and was always gone. She never really spent time with us. And I had to help take care of my brother and my sister. We lived in the Hawaiian projects, low-income housing, and it was very rough. I couldn't even go home after school because there was shady people around, and it was definitely not a safe place to live. And so one of the people in my life that completely changed my life was my video production teacher. He let me, my sister, and my brother hang out at school after school until my mom got home so that we could get there safely. I ended up getting my first job at 14 years old, working at the mall because I needed to help pay rent. I needed to help buy food for our family, and that had taught me a lot of perseverance. I wanted different for my life. However, I got pregnant at 19, the same age as my mom. I became a single mom at 20 years old. And for me, I was just repeating the cycle of poverty that we all struggle with, especially if you grew up rough. And that's when I knew I had to break out of the cycle. I had to do something different. And how many of you right now are struggling through something? Raise your hand. Anything in life. Use that as your motivation. So I ended up putting myself through college. I was the first in my family to graduate with a bachelor's degree. Became an engineer. I had another person in my life who was my boss at the time. I actually wanted to help people. I wanted to make a difference. And so I started off working as a counselor in the College of Engineering. And my boss told me, hey, why don't you start taking some engineering courses because you're already helping these students out with their grades. I said, no, I'm not smart enough to be an engineer. She said, just take some classes. I took them, and I realized I like very direct answers. 1 + 1 = 2. The classes that I was taking in psychology, it was like, is the sky blue, or is it green, or is it red? I'm like, I don't understand. I think it's blue, but I like just directness. And so I worked hard as an engineer for 10 years, very proud. My family was ecstatic. But during that 10 years, being in charge of these multi-million-dollar projects, I was working 60 to 70-hour weeks just to be able to maintain my job and on a salary. So I didn't get paid more if I worked more. But I am a very driven person, and when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to get it done. And After I got married and had my second child, my son was diagnosed with autism. And I had to take off work more often to go to his doctor's appointments, to go to his therapy. And my boss was okay with it at first, but then I felt a little pushback the more time I requested off. And then I was working nights to help catch up, and then I was going in on Saturdays and then Sundays. And what I realized was this was going to be my life until we're told that, you have to work till you're 65 or 67, get a good job, work every day and put in your time, and then you get to enjoy life when you're old AF. So, but I didn't want that to be me, and especially after I had a bigger reason why I needed that time freedom. I always knew, yeah, we want to get financial freedom, but what's more important is the time freedom that you get to spend with your loved ones when it matters. My son, I'm not going to get more time with my son or my family back, but I can always make more money. And so if you guys are struggling or you have a reason why you need to do this, then do it. It takes the action. It takes the reasoning. My husband told me while I was working, he said, they're getting the best of you, and we're getting the rest of you. Yeah, that deep. That still sticks with me to this day. And so whenever I spend my time doing something, I think about if it's worth it. Is this worth my time? Because I could be spending it with my family. So I did what a lot of people do. A lot of millennials Google, right? How to get rich, how to quit my job and be a millionaire. And I Google searched a bunch of side hustles, but real estate kept popping up. And like they say, 90% of millionaires come from real estate. Found bigger pockets, just started every day on my lunch break, during work, after work, just listening to podcasts, going to events, like finding out about functions, going to those. And like Brian mentioned, I was quiet. I was an extreme introvert. I don't know how extreme you guys, it would even hurt me to say hi to people. Like, I'm going to sit in the back of the room. I can't say hi to people. Like, this is weird. It's strange. It's uncomfortable. And now I'm speaking on stage in front of thousands of people. But what I've learned along the way is it's not about me. It's about helping that next person that was in my situation. If I can inspire just one person in this room to make a change to something different, to get to spend more time with their loved ones while we have time on this earth, then that means all the world to me. So I ended up going to these networking events, meeting a realtor at one of these events because I was scared to put in low offers. And so he was an investor himself. He started putting in offers for me. I bought my first flip at 33 years old, so I wasn't no spring chicken, I was kind of in my 30s when I started this, and made 103 net in 45 days. 45 days. Changed my life. I was making $60,000 a year, working 60 to 70-hour weeks as a civil engineer. I still had that mindset, though, of, well, what if I just got lucky? What if, I'm not good at this? What if I can't find another deal like this? And so after that, I knew I needed a mentor. I needed a coach. I needed somebody to help me with my mindset. And just to help get me to the next level, I knew, okay, if I could just do this one time a year, that would replace my salary. I would only have to work 45 days out of the year. So after I seen Ryan, in the beginning too, when he was on his Instagram, he was jumping on couches, pointing, doing, the words popping up, same thing like we all were. And seeing him and going to his first mastermind completely changed my life, completely. And I seen other people doing what I wanted to do, and I was like, okay, I can do it. I talked to him directly, and I said, Ryan, I don't know. I don't know if I can continue doing this. I might have it's a one-off. And so he said, look, what is stopping you from going all in right now? So, well, I worked really hard. I came from no money, and I worked really hard to get my bachelor's degree. Like, I can't just give it all up. He said, okay, well, then why are you here? So, well, I know I'm meant for more. I just did this flip, I made all this money, but what if it doesn't happen again? So he's like, then it's you. You are what's stopping you. You are what's holding you back. Just let it come to you. And so after that, I realized that what was stopping me was, my health insurance, right? And he said, well, your health insurance, how much is that a month? I said, I think it's like $1,500 a month I get higher health insurance. He said, so you're letting $1,500 a month stop you from making an extra 100 to 200 to $1 million a year. It's like, you're right. You're right. It's simple. But all in all, I think a lot of times it comes to the own voice that we have in our head and what we tell ourselves that holds us back. And that's why a lot of times we need a coach to help bring it out of us. So I ended up joining the mentorship, his first mentorship in December 2019, quitting my job in January 2020, right before the pandemic. Don't know if that was good timing or not, but I definitely burned all the bridges, so there was no going back. So today I've made over $1 million fixing and flipping, own rentals, a fund manager, general partner, and truly am able to spend time with my family, don't have to answer to anybody but myself, and able to now do passion projects like building truly affordable housing in Hawaii. Thank you. So I also became a micro-influencer along the way, surprisingly to me. But I think because I am at a place where people can still relate to me. I'm still on my journey and climb up, and I'm bringing people with me. So if you're not already, follow me at Invest with Zasha on Instagram. But I've partnered on deals through Instagram, raised money, got some affiliate opportunities, and also expanded my network. I can tell you right now that there's people online right now that want to invest with you, that want to partner with you. You may have never met them before, but they can help you. And so it's just connecting with the right people, building that community, building that trust, and social media helps you do that. So key lessons, like I mentioned before, it's simple. I work mostly with partners. I don't have everything figured out. I don't know how to underwrite a lot of these deals that we're in, but my partners do. I don't know how to oversee huge apartment building projects, but my partners do. And so that's the key with it, is that you don't have to know everything before you get started, but you have to know where your value lies, and that comes with your mindset, your why. Family, community, relationships. That's my why. And also just went to the 49ers game too, so if anybody's seen that, pray for us. So mentors, like I mentioned before, I had Ryan in the beginning, right? He helped lift me up to start into real estate investing, start me on my path. Then along the way, I met other people that have helped me build these relationships or get confident about different strategies. Like Heather, we bought 2 RV parks, and with her guidance, she has helped me navigate that new strategy that I'm invested in, Pace Morby, creative financing. I never knew that even existed. I never knew to ask about if the seller would finance the deal. I always thought, okay, we got to use private money, hard money, but that new strategy has led to us now doing way more deals as well. And your network. Everyone here has something to add to the next person. It just takes you being uncomfortable, putting yourself out there, and meeting people. Like I said, I would have been the one in the back of the room just taking notes, not talking to anybody, feel like, okay, I'm educating myself. But I would never take action until I got around the right people that were doing it. So Brandon Turner, previous host of the Bigger Pockets podcast. Even though he lives in Maui, it's not like we hang out all the time. But he was one of the people that opened up the network, Bigger Pockets network to me. And my whole goal was to be on Bigger Pockets. How many people have that goal? They want to be on Bigger Pockets? Raise your hand. That was my like end all be all goal. Like if as an investor, I want to be on Bigger Pockets. Meeting him, networking with him, that led to me being on the show. I never thought in a million years I'd be on it, but that just goes to show the more you put yourself out there, the more you tell your story, the more people you're in front of, the more opportunities you're going to get. Amy Majuri, I just recently spoke at her event about raising private money, and that led to her network then now lending on my deals. And so when you go to these events, really make sure that you are connecting with people and finding ways to add value. There's many people in this room who I have asked for favors, or hey, I'm going to be in town now. Can you get some quick shots for me for social media? Or can you, come to our event or come to our meetup and help me host it? And there's a whole community of people that I can now count on and add value to. But not only that, they can add value to yourself. So don't be scared to leverage your network. So today, ask yourself, what's holding you back? Is it time? Oh, I don't have the time. I'm working a full-time job. I was working a full-time job. I'm married with kids. I didn't have much time on the weekends, but you know what that leads to is finding out that you need to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice sleep. If you don't have time during the time you're awake, then you got to wake up earlier. How many of you have started reading Atomic Habits or started an early morning routine? Raise your hand. Yep. Has that changed your life? 100%. I can tell you, while I was working full-time, I was waking up at 4 o'clock, exercising. I was on calls that were Eastern Standard Time. I was learning, educating myself. And because Hawaii, we're so far behind everyone else, it kind of gives us a leg up because we get to wake up earlier and start the day when other people are starting. But also, we get that time at the end. So my kids would go to sleep between 9 to 10 o'clock, and then I would be up until, 12, 1 a.m., still educating myself, going through Ryan's courses, and just learning and connecting with people. So I think the biggest thing you have to ask yourself is, it's not do you have the time, will you make the time? Do you have the money? You've seen a bunch of me and Brian both didn't have any money growing up, but we made the connections, we made the networking, we showcased what we do and our experience, and then we connected with people. There's people in this room who have lent on my projects, who are looking to diversify, who maybe lost money this past year saying, you know what, I just want to do private lending. There are people in this room who could fund your deals. Is it knowledge? Well, there's coaches for that. Is it the connections? Get comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm still uncomfortable on this stage, but I know that there's people out there that need to hear this, especially in the beginning of the year when we're the most motivated. You could change your life. Imagine if today you decide, I'm going to go all in into investing, and you could potentially make $1 million this year. Would that change your life? So do it. No, just kidding. But moreover, one of the things I want to leave you with is that it's not about only making more money, but it's making more of an impact. I came from low-income housing. I was scared to go home every single day when I was growing up. I want to build affordable housing in Hawaii for those people who are struggling in an expensive market just to make it. Those people like my mom, who were working 3 jobs, who couldn't afford even to put food on our table. That's what I want to do. And this year, this is my goal in 2024, is to build an affordable housing project on the Big Island with this guy right here, Fuzzy. Stand up. So the reason why I want to point this out to you is that this is bigger than us. This is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You could truly help change someone's life. And that's what Fuzzy has done for me. He has made me realize that it is doable. I can be a developer. I can create housing for all these people that are struggling just to get by. So think about your why, like really think about your why. Yes, your family, your community, your church or relationships. But truly think how you want to leave this earth, what an impact you want to make, and who do you want to make it on. So mahalo with that. I do have a free link for you guys to get a guide on how I made my first 100,000. Goes into more details. They're giving me a time limit here, so I couldn't go through all of that. But I really want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for investing in yourself. Thank you for Ryan and Brian and the whole Wealthy Investor team for believing in me, for keeping on pushing me outside of my comfort zone. Because I can tell you right now, I do not like speaking on stage. So thank you guys.